The next topic we would like to discuss is the trends of solar panels and technology developments in that area. I know that you are probably familiar with many brands, and you think that there is, or many people think there is not a big difference between the different solar panel types and different brands. And that's also a very price-sensitive topic. But I would like to show you what are the main differences between the technologies that we sell and what are the main differences between the technologies on the market. So we have two brands in our portfolio. We have gone since a while with Tongwei. I'm not sure how many of you are new partners and how many of you are with us since a while. Basically, Tongwei Solar is currently the biggest cell manufacturing company, because a lot of panel manufacturers only purchase the cells from other brands and then put like a metal bracket for it, but basically they don't manufacture the cells, so they don't have the technology on their hands. Tongwei Solar is a different one. It's an integrated brand because they produce the cell and they produce the panels as well. It's the same with LONGi Solar. We decided to have these two brands because Tongwei for sure is the biggest integrated brand, and the integration is a very important thing. Norby and Hugo will talk about it in the C&I energy storage part, because it's the same for the battery cells and the batteries manufactured. So that gives you an advantage on the market if you can integrate your own product, because you know the development, you know the new possibilities with the new products, what you can do, and you can start to develop for that product already in advance. Tongwei is the biggest manufacturer at the moment. LONGi was also the biggest manufacturer for like 4 or 5 years, but now they have chosen a different technological development plan. You can remember, I believe, that the solar panels for a while were P-type, and 1 or 2 years ago a big boom came and N-type panels became very popular. They are also around the same in price. Also the solar panel prices dropped very heavily in the last few years. But basically there was a technological change from most of the solar panel brands. Everybody moved towards the N-type technology, and so did Tongwei Solar, and or they developed a different technology for polysilicon production, and it's a very important aspect that they have their own cell production, because they could conquer or set records for different efficiency records. As we talk about solar panels, we talk about 22 to 23%, maybe sometimes 21.5% efficiency. So if you can raise that efficiency with only 1 or 2%, then you will already have a big advantage compared to other panels. So everybody tries to develop a technology that will prevent microcracks, let's say, because it's one of the leading factors that will diminish the power output of a solar panel throughout the time. So these you cannot see with your own eyes. You need to have some sort of detection or some sort of device for it that will make it visible. Basically, what Tongwei tried to do, or what Tongwei is developing, is that they can put the cells closer than average manufacturers can do. And with this gap closing, they can reduce the risk of these micro cracks happening, as you can see on the bottom right corner here on the screen. So there is also a little graph on the left side that will show you how much they could reduce the possibility of microcracks happening inside the panels. There are also many other important materials inside of a solar panel than just the silicium itself and the cell itself. And these materials are also permanently developed and chosen very carefully by the companies that produce the solar panels, because with that they entrap the light within the solar panel and they don't let it reflect from the solar panel or escape on the backside of it, but rather get trapped in the silicon, so the cells can produce electricity from that. So the most common use, or the most common panel of the Tongwei brand is, as I mentioned, this N-type passivated connect cell module. That is the TopCon module. And with this, there came a higher efficiency standard in terms of solar panels. Also, these are the well-known dimensions for the Tongwei brand. As you are aware, the sizes every time grow. So whenever a solar panel manufacturer starts with a new series, usually the panels get bigger and bigger. That's why in the past you had 200, 250 watts panels. Now you have the smallest one around 400. You cannot purchase 300 watt panels anymore that are newly produced, simply because these big companies will only produce these standard kinds of panels. 45 cells, 66 cells, maybe 60 cells in some cases, but basically these are the most standard numbers that you can find on the market. So the width and the length of the panel increases and decreases with the number of cells integrated, but basically the technology is the same. However, you can use different kinds of panels on different applications. For example, in utility, you will go to aim with higher powered beam panels simply because you will need less mounting structures for a greenfield development, which will, of course, decrease the capex cost by a significant amount. And the watt price of the panel will be the same as for the smaller one. However, if you're installing on a residential rooftop, you would not like to bring up a 700 watt panel there, and you cannot find a space for it either that easily. So for residential installations, you go with smaller panel types most of the time. Also, there is a bifacial factor, which is newly spread, I think, or half newly spread, because a few years ago it was already there. Basically, bifacial panels have a different structure, because on the back side of it, they don't have a plastic sheet. They have a glass cover as well on the front side. So this gives structural integrity to the panel. That's why the warranty for these kinds of panels are longer. Also, the heat dissipation is better. And the heat also causes the microcracks to spread and to happen within the panel. One thing, however, to keep in mind is when you purchase a bifacial panel and you install it on the roof, you will have no benefit at all from the bifaciality. Also, one question that is usually emerging regarding the bifacial panels is if the panel is 500 watt, let's say, and it's bifacial, and the bifacial factor is 20%, then can the solar panel produce 600 watts? No, it cannot. It's for the front side, it's 500 watts. The front side doesn't produce 400, and then they add the bifacial in some kind and it becomes 500. No, the front side is 500, and basically what bifaciality helps is that the panel will be able to produce at a higher amount of power each time when there is reflected light from the backside. So the 500 watt is a test result, basically, in a laboratory. You will not have that amount of power coming out from the panel. You will have 200 watts, you will have 400, 450, and so on, anything in between. But bifaciality helps to raise that amount if there is a reflection available. With that also comes one disadvantage, let's say, because generally the monofacial panels have 3.2 millimeter thick tempered glass on the front side. However, in the bifacial panels, it's only 1.6 millimeters. So when there is a lot of strong hailstorms, you are recommended to use monofacial panels because these are more resistible against the hailstorms. And there is the heterojunction module. So as I mentioned, Tongwei is going for the records and is trying to break them every time. With that, they can ensure that they keep on the front part of the industry, or in the front seats of the industry in terms of technology, that they will have the newest products, the higher efficiency, etc. So if you have a 22% efficient panel on the roofs, and you have a 24% efficient panel on the roofs, you basically gained almost 10%. And if you have a given amount of space on a residential roof, then you can sell 10% more to your customers in terms of kilowatt peak. That's why they are developing these heterojunction modules as well. There are some of the dimensions highlighted, also kinds of cells that are integrated, because G12 is also a kind of standard cell that is present currently in the manufacturing. Now Tongwei and many other brands have agreed to change the standard cell sizes. G12 will be probably get lost in the process, and rather M10 and M11 will be used. With that, the dimensions will change up a little bit. Here you can see the new generations of Tongwei panels, expected dimensions. These will also change in with the next series, and I will also talk about more about it in details at the LONGi part. So, as we have Tongwei since a while in our portfolio, I would like to discuss LONGi a little bit longer, because we just newly became distributor for them, but it's a very good brand, and that is exactly the reason why we brought them up in our portfolio, because we think these two brands are the best solutions to provide for you and for the investors as well, because LONGi is a bit more expensive. You can find sometimes a very good discount on them, and then it will be the same price as Tongwei, but they have some technological advantages over the rest of the panel manufacturers. Basically, almost every panel manufacturer went in the direction of developing N-type panels. LONGi and ICO were the ones that stuck with P-type panels, and the reason for that is because they have better technology. LONGi uses a back contact. HPBC or HPBC panels are manufactured. This is the name of the technology. Basically, it means hybrid passivated back contact. What they do is put the bus bars from the front on the back side of the panels. So first of all, they don't get direct sunlight, so they will be at a lower temperature every time. So you will have less losses from the bus bars as well, and they will not cause a shadow. I will show you a picture which will clearly indicate why is it important. Even though you think the bus bars are small, they still cast some shadows. So here is the changes inside, and why I talk it at LONGi is because they had the X6 series. Now they will have X6 Max, and it will only available for like 5 or 6 months, and then X10 series will come. The reason for that is that they will change already the wafer in those panels, but they would be still P-type. The X10 series will combine the advantages of N-type and P-type panels together. So those new panels will be even more efficient and will clearly lead the industry in that department. So you will be able to get panels with that high efficiency as they try to break records with in normal market pricing. So that's a very important note, I think, that you should remember. And these changes start with the new standardized cell sizes. So with that, the module sizes change for first, and you will see that in the X6 Max series. You have, I'm not sure if it's visible from your view how the panel size changes. Of course, we will share that information with you anytime you are interested. But basically, what is going to be happen that there will be still be panels under 2 square meters, because it's important in some parts of Europe, but they will be a little bit wider. All of the panels will be a little bit wider. They will be the same in length, but they will be a little bit wider. And also, one important thing that they can feel better. They can feel better the brackets of the panels. So also for that, the feel factor will be increased. So here you can see the X6 Max series, and you will see that it will be 180 centimeters, the smallest one that we suggest for the rooftops. This will be already over 450 watts. So this will be the smallest panel available. Currently, we have still a lot of panels or a lot of customers that require 410 watt panels. Those are simply just not available anymore because the manufacturers produce better panels. So at the same size, they produce more power, basically. So another advantage why the back contact is very important, as we already discussed a little bit about micro cracks. So you can see the welding structure on the bottom of the screen that with the other brands who don't use back contact, they lay a row of bus bars during the manufacturing and they lay a cell on it. And they lay another row of bus bars and they lay a cell on it. And that causes the bus bars to bend a little, and this will cause stress on the edge of the cells. And this stress will cause micro cracks in case of you transport the panel, you hit the panel a little bit. When you install it, you put it a bit stronger there on its place. These can cause micro cracks. Also, there is space between the glass and the cell itself in case there are bus bars on the front, and then humidity can get between the two of it, and then when heat comes with the direct sunlight, of course, then it can also cause the micro cracks and increase the stress on the edge of the cells, and it will cause the micro cracks. So basically you will have a panel more stable. There are standards how much a panel can deteriorate during the time, and it's 5% for a given amount of time in the current IEC standard, but LONGi produces panels that are below 0.15% degradation per year. So that's a very, very, let's say, exceptional amount. And also there are some tests from the third-party companies, like TÜV, for example, where they can measure with dump heat tests. These are tests when they put the solar panels into an heated environment with high humidity for 1,000 hours, and simulate around 7 or 8 years of lifetime. This lasts 1,000 hours, as I mentioned, so around 3 months, basically. And they realized that the efficiency drop in back contact panels are way lower than the other types of panels. So as I mentioned already, the bus bars that cause shades, why is it important? Because you maybe cannot see it with your eyes, but you can imagine, because you know that if a shadow is cast on a solar panel, then it will decrease the performance of the whole string. I think you know that from experience. It's the same with the solar panels itself. When the bus bar gets direct sunlight from above, around 90 degrees, it's not that big of a problem, because basically it will cause almost no shadows. But when the sunlight is at a lower inclination, maybe around 10 or 20 degrees in the morning, when the sun is getting up, and by the night when the sun is going down, those are the times when most of your customers firstly use the electricity in their house. So nobody, or not a lot of people, are home during the night, during the day, sorry, and they can only charge into the grid or charge into batteries the electricity that they generated during that time period. However, in the morning and in the evening, they can use the generated power themselves already in their homes. And you can see that with the back contact panels in the morning and in the evening, there is a 6% difference. If you do measurements with the same installations, same panels nearby each other, there would be around 6% difference just because of the shadows. Also, another important thing to note is when you create a full black panel. So if aesthetics are important because it's in a well-shown place or it's some building that required a modern look, you can see the difference between a back contact module and a front contact module, because the bus bars will be also silver every time, because they are made of pure silver, almost pure silver, so they will reflect a lot of sunlight. However, if it's back contact, then you will have a completely black panel. Why is it important that you get to the new dimensions of the solar panels? Because the new X10 series will also only available in that dimension. So even though the X6 Max will be for a short period available for a short period of time, it will already have the same dimensions, so you don't have to adjust anything further when the new changes come. Simply, these panels will be a bit more expensive again, but they will have a higher power as well in the same dimension. There are a few videos. I hope this will be visible. Basically, we will have two current meters, and we will see when the sunlight comes up how much current the different panels are producing. So you can see there is really a quite big difference. These are same power panels, so these are the same size, same amount of cells, but because of the different technology, there is a really different power output. Also, there is another test where they compared it to water towers, because the difference in the water's height is the difference between the pump's power that it's getting from the solar panel. And you can see that the production of a back contact module is higher than of the N-type. Also, it's worth noting that with back contact, you don't get everything without any disadvantage. So, for example, when you are using bifacial panels, then probably N-type ones are the better choice, because they are usually front bus barred, or every time front bus barred, and the bifacial factor will be influenced by the back contact, because with the back contact you have the bus bars on the back, and the same shadowing effect applies from the back side of the module. And there is one other example why is it more resistant against microcracks, because the cell itself with the new X6 Max series and the X10 series can hold this can, and usual wafers break underneath the weight of that. Yeah, so it was the same weight, the same size of the wafer, same points where they got installed, but it can hold the weight of the can. So that's also important, because it proves that the mechanical strength is higher with these new technologies, and hence the microcracks will happen with less probability. So with that, I would like to thank you for your attention. If you are thinking about why you should choose a more expensive panel at some installations, it's because if you are using a software that is preparing, let's say, an offer for you, or just shows you how much you can expect from the given panels to produce. For example, PVSys is an industrial standard software. If you're using that and you put in a more expensive panel, sometimes you will see, for example, in LONGi's case, because I know for sure that LONGi is a bit more expensive, but if it produces 5 or 6% more power during that time, and only cost 3% more, then you will win 3% basically, because you can sell 3% more electricity to your customer for the same price. So that's why sometimes it's worth to adjusting the capex prices, because you can have a bigger revenue with that, and you need to explain, you need to educate at some point your customers as well, so they would like to invest in that kind of products, because in the long time it will have its worth in money. Also, LONGi have this number called LCOE, it's the lifetime cost of electricity, and that is the aim to develop their panels with the reason that if you buy that, you will get the most watt hour from a panel for the given price. So you will not find any other panels that will produce more for the same price, or vice versa. So basically, that's the advantage of it. In the start, it costs a little bit more, but in the end, it generates more energy. So you should have a net positive. If you have any questions, which panels you should use for some installations, because there are also some special kinds, for example, anti-dust panels, which can produce more than 20% in a dusty environment, which is quite a significant increase. Or there is also some flat roof installation specialized panels, which you can mount with only 2 legs, instead of 3, and also provide 500 watts or 550 watts of power, which usually requires a 3-mounted leg or mounting on the long side. But if you are using a mounting system that is mounting on the short side, then you will need a 3rd leg, which will increase the cost even further, and it will be more expensive than using a bit more expensive panels, but with less mounting structure. So you can gain a lot of that, or a lot on that. So thank you very much. And in case you have any questions, of course, you have a contact person, but you can ask directly to me as well. And we will help you choose and show why you should go with a given panel for the project. Thank you very much.